Grace going to shoot a three-pointer. Corner good.
There was no doubt that was going in.
No doubt at all.
Gave her one-on-one, drives inside, tomahawks it down. There's the exclamation mark.
The North Hall Lady Trojans are your 2019 Lanierland champions.
Gainesville, Lanierland champions again.
It's an electric atmosphere that you probably couldn't repeat.
Just watching how proud the kids were to hold that trophy because they had wanted it for so long.
I sort of get a few cold chills thinking about it, just talking about it.
Welcome to the Lanierland Young at Heart segment, as Coach Pittman has just thrown it out to us to show as we talk about the 2021 Lanierland, or the 62nd Lanierland tournament, as it's coming up later on this week. So going to be a fantastic tournament. And, Coach, it's always a great time to talk about Lanierland basketball.
Always, never too early. It's a year-round thing here in Hall County, so I expect today will be a lot of fun.
Today, as you were talking about, we have – how many wins did you say again?
Well, we're well over 1,000 and counting because Coach House, is still coaching and still winning. So between Sweat, Steele, and Coach House, we are it's coaching deity at its best.
Coaching deity.
No doubt about it.
I like that, by the way. That's a great way to describe it. Let's get to these folks in the talk studio today and who we got.
Yeah, here in our first segment, like I said, we have Coach House at North Hall. We have Coach Steve Sweat, who was the former probably winningest coach at West Hall. I'm guessing, right, Coach? Is that correct?
Man, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, well, we're going to go with it because it sounds good. There's no doubt about it. I know you won it 4 straight, so we're going with it. And then Coach Steele, who I know was the winningest coach at Johnson. So I'm looking forward to talking with these guys and having a lot of fun about their memories and things in the past from their coaching.
Well, let's get to it. What is the most interesting question that you have formed for these Hall of Fame coaches? We'll just go ahead and call them Hall of Fame because that's what they're going to be.
Well, they are Hall of Fame. But, I think maybe first some memories, moments you guys can describe. Is it when you prep for the season, do you think of Lanierland almost as a playoff atmosphere? Was it that big a deal to you guys and your teams when you were coaching?
I'll answer that. I said many times, if you played for a state championship, you probably would not play in a better environment than in the Lanierland final. That one final we played at Chestatee, the atmosphere was crazy. It was just electric. So, yeah, it's important to the kids. We try to play it down as coaches because we want the big ring, but it's important to us too.
Sweat, what do you think?
Yeah, you do. Just like Coach said, everything is gearing up for, I guess, in coaching talk, and you gotta do your region, but it's almost like the Lanierland tournament or the week of, and because we started going to banquets and. It became a big deal where that was like just a section of your season by itself is where I'm going with that. And that's, when it was the Lanierland week, man, you didn't do nothing else but get ready for Lanierland.
Now, Coach House, I'm glad you're here with us because you have 2 perspectives. Obviously, you played at a very high level when you played at North Hall, and now you're back coaching at your alma mater. So compare what it was like to play in it, please, versus now coaching in it.
It was way easier to play in it for sure because I don't remember worrying about it at all, Plus, I don't really remember it all, but it was way easier then. And I like what Coach Sweat said because that's kind of how we look at it. You got your season before Lanierland, and then you got your Lanierland season, and then you got your region down the stretch to get to your state tournament. So that's kind of exactly the way we look at it, and being able to try to, as a coach, use that tournament as a springboard, hopefully, to blast you into your region play if you can have a good showing at Lanierland.
Well, I like your humility there, but just so you remember, as a player, you won it 3 times. So we'll brag on you, and I appreciate the humility. The spin off that would be, to me, as I look through the years at different teams winning Lanierland, both boys and girls. It seems to be there was kind of runs, if you will, like Sweat, you guys won it 4 in a row. Steele, you guys won it 2 years, and we're competing really there for 3 or 4 years. And then Kristi, just like I said, as a player, you won it 3 out of 4 years, and then you've won it a couple of times, or I think once there yourselves, and been really there in the top as well. Do y'all see it as runs as well?
It is, because different years you've got different teams that are good, and then I sit and watched the Army-Navy game the other day. One was 8-3 and one was 3-8, and the 3-8 won. And I've seen that happen at Lanierland too. A lot of years who was supposed to win didn't win, and someone who nobody thought was going to win wound up being the winner. And I think also, playing off of what Coach House said, I was fortunate enough to play in it myself way back before probably some of you in this room were born. But, I played when the tournament was held at Gainesville Junior College. And so that'll give you a little clue there how long ago that was. Actually, it was in 1974 was my first time playing in the tournament. Hence my jacket I got on today, my letter jacket from Johnson High School. Love it. And so, when you get to that point, and then I got probably out of the mode of thinking about it. I mean, I went to Lanierland so many times when I wasn't playing or coaching in it, just because it's Lanierland. But then I wound up working back at West Hall, and now you coach in Hall County, you got to play in Lanierland. So it's such a special thing, and to be able to say that I was one of the ones that played in it and coached in it, I think that's a blessing.
Absolutely, Coach. Well said.
Well, now, Coach, you talked about Gainesville College. I think this is a good time to kind of shift into Gainesville College because, Coach House, we've done a story in the Lanierland magazine about, stuff like that, the history of it, and I think Coach House is quoted in the magazine by saying that she remembers it being in Gainesville College, Jim going to watch it there. That facility, playing in that type of environment back then, how did it compare to just playing at a just a regular county gym?
Well, I mean, it was about the same size as most of ours. It might have been a little bit bigger, but you had so many more people there, and I can almost remember what it smelled like. And they had this, was that the parquet wood floor, the wood squares, the Olin, man, it was just great to play on. And it's like what you see on TV in the NBA games. Nobody around here had that kind of floor. And I just remember walking in kind of early on and just being in awe of it, and then just good times and tons of people, just tons of people, and growing up just wanting to be there and be able to be on that stage as well.
I know this question has come up probably for, 62 years, I guess we could say. And when some of the schools want to host it somewhere, and did you feel like it was better in one place like at Gainesville College?
I mean, I loved it there, but now you just have so many more things to think about. Is where's your overflow room and where's this and where that? We didn't think about it. People just got in, and if it was standing room only, they stood up. And if they couldn't wedge their way in the door, they waited till somebody moved and they broke in front of them and pushed their way on in through there. So, just didn't worry about these kinds of things as much as we do now. And I don't know. I guess with the tournament being bigger, it would be a lot on one facility, but I kind of liked it there in those days.
Well, as a coach, and you guys have to worry about preparing for a game, and I mean the crowds are huge, regardless of where it is. Taking away from last year, of course, but the crowds are huge. What is it like as a coach to be playing in front of a crowd like Lanierland, where a lot of people that's in the crowd, but the crowd is loud, raucous? It's a great environment. What's it like to coach in such an environment as Lanierland?
I think it's next level. The kids, as coaches, I think it meant more to the kids than it probably should have, as far as what a coach wants out of their kids. Does that make sense? I mean, of course we wanted to win it, but our eyes on the big prize. But the kids, man, are so competitive here in the county about this tournament, and it's a bragging rights thing. And just like I said earlier, it's an electric atmosphere that you probably couldn't repeat.
Yeah, I agree to that 100%. I mean, that's you can, and I know probably every one of y'all in this room has been to games where you can tell you're at a big game before you ever walk in the gym. You know, you can feel it outside. You can feel it when you get out of your car, get off the bus, whatever you drove there. And those are the things that I remember. I mean, and we would go in, and you talk about people waiting outside, Coach, and and we were one of the fortunate ones. We got to go in this door over here. We didn't have to wait in line.
That's
right. I mean, we get off the bus with our team, and everybody treats you like gold. So that's pretty special. You know, when you are able to do that, and you've got the luxury of being able to do that. And of course, now when you get out there and it's your turn to play, though, all eyes are on you. Now it's time to be quiet and go do what you said you was gonna do, and which, again, coaching in it and getting prepared, as the others have said, that's a business in itself, because now you're not just playing a game, you're playing a game in Lanierland tournament, which is a little different part of the schedule, as we've already said, and that was it was just a special thing to be able to go in and then to. I mean, we were fortunate to win it, thank the Lord, and so,
yes.
To go in and then win that thing, and be a part of being a Lanierland champion. I sort of get a few cold chills thinking about it, just talking about it.
I can't compare much to it. That night we beat Gainesville over at Chestatee. That probably the highlight of my coaching career, because of the hype. Because of the atmosphere, because of what tournament it was. The oldest tournament in the state of Georgia. It's a classic.
And you say in the next level, some of these kids would never know what a true run is, but, like we have runs in a game where we got 100 people in the stands. We might hit 3 or 4 threes in a row, but you hit 3 or 4 threes in a row, people are cheering for you, don't even know you. And the place just erupts. Yes. And then, man, that's what a run is. That's like what you see on TV, but college kids get to experience the uplift of the entire crowd. So, it's just an experience that you can't replicate really anywhere else in your regular season games.
Or any time, I would think.
Yeah.
And you say that, Coach Steele, I don't know if have you been back since if you hadn't, I don't know, but I've been back and seen the.
I haven't yet.
I went. I understand it. I took a little while before I went. But, I went back and what you just said is so fun to see now, because I'm not one of the ones that's got to worry about if the threes go in or not. But I walk in the gym and you see these people, and I'm looking over there like, why are they hollering for Chestatee, or why are they hollering for North Hall? They just holler for whoever's winning, But at that point in time in the gym, and it just goes nuts, and you got half the gym for one team and half for the other one. And it's just so, what do they say, electric or whatever.
Yes.
And I guess being on the outside now and looking in, you see all that. I mean, when you was coaching, you don't notice that. You don't notice nothing but what's going on the floor.
That's the truth.
It's like, then people talk, why didn't you hear, did you not hear me hollering at you? I said, man, I wasn't listening for you. I was worried about if the shot went in or not, I don't care what you were saying in the stands, but anyway. To be able to see that, and I sit there and again didn't even have anything to do with it, but I'm all hyped up on the edge of my seat, like, man, come on, you got to, this team's got to do this team's got to do that. So it's just, I'm telling you, when you walk in, it's just something else.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a contagious.
Still is
atmosphere. Yeah.
So y'all have already kind of alluded to it, and it sounds good. But let me brag on each of you guys, and then ask a question. So, Coach Sweat, as we mentioned earlier. In all sincerity, I mean, you won 567 games, if I've got that correct. You won Lanierland 4 times. Coach Steele, you won almost 350 games in your career and won Lanierland twice. Kristi, you've won it once, and you're 200+ and counting and so forth. So not only are y'all successful people, you're successful coaches, what are some of the big memories that y'all take? Steele alluded to one with the Gainesville, the Johnson-Gainesville win that night, and I was there because Steele had already beat my team that week, so I was getting to host. I was getting to host the rest of the event, if you will.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But
Those are always fun.
it was,
Might get that chance
it
this year.
really was well over fire marshal capacity. We'll say that. But no, seriously, what are some memories that you guys have?
Yeah. Well, for me, winning the first one was good, and then it was great. God's good, and He's blessed us in a lot of ways, and I guess you can count winning basketball games a blessing. Thank goodness we had some great players during all them wins, and and it's like y'all have heard me say many times before. Out of them 567 wins, I didn't score a single point. So, there was a lot of times I wanted to shoot, but I couldn't go out there, okay? I can't do it for them. But anyway, winning the first one and then winning the next one, and then they had a rule. Is this still a rule that you get to keep the trophy if you win 4 in a row? Is that
3?
3 in a row? Oh, they make it easy for y'all. You had to win 4 in a row to keep it. And, and I say that, and again, just well blessed, not bragging by no means, but every time I go to West Hall, I cannot help but just glance over there and make sure that gold basketball trophy is still in that trophy case. Because I know what we done to get it there, and it was really fun. And, to me, I guess winning that 4th one and being able to take that trophy back to your school, that was pretty special.
That's impressive.
That is good.
Coach, you want to say something, or you?
You can go ahead.
I just want to expand on that Lanierland experience at Chestatee. Before the game, and I always have to give my wife props because I don't know how many of y'all seen the Seabiscuit movie, but she referenced that movie, and I swear, y'all, everybody in the locker room was crying, me, all my kids. And I say this often, that's the only game I've ever coached that I knew we were going to win before it started. And we were losing at halftime. But I'm telling you, the power of it was just a blessing, the way it was put to us. You could tell it touched the kids. And I'm telling you, emotions run a long way with kids and me. And she got us all emotional, and we went out there and we played probably better than we ever played the whole year. I mean, they had 2 D1 athletes on that team. They were loaded, and so that's why that's so special to me. That, and of course it's Lanierland, and it's special and it's electric, but all that combined is my greatest memory for sure.
That's awesome. That was a great game.
Yeah, it was good.
So for me, you kind of brought it up a little bit, but my favorite one, and I've only had one as a coach. I've had a couple as an assistant and been able to be in the locker room. But when we won it in 2019, just watching how proud the kids were to hold that trophy because they had wanted it for so long, and it had kind of been out of our reach. I guess we hadn't won it then in 10 years or something, and a couple of them had older sisters that played on the team, and everybody knew about Lanierland. And just to see the pride, they carried the trophy around like a baby. They took pictures with it in their car. I mean, they carried it all over town. We didn't get to keep it, but it was the most fulfilling for me as a coach just to see how proud they were of what they were able to accomplish together and on that stage. And I mean, it was a sweet night.
Yeah, those will stay with you.
It's good because, as I said before, there were times when we won it, probably the 3rd and the 4th time, we wasn't really the ones that was supposed to win, on paper, I guess you would say.
Well, that's my situation.
I
know what
I
mean.
think that made it better too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and and that's a hard tournament to win. I mean,
sure is, man.
Look back through the years, and it's still that way. I guess at the time when it was all happening, this week, for instance, I sit and listen to some old podcast or radio broadcasts, and one of them was Chesley. Bo, you may remember, I think you may have been at Chesley talking to the Causey.
Talking to Michael Causey about that 98 game, I think it was.
And I sit there and listen to the entire thing.
Yeah.
Of course, I got plenty of time now, but thank the Lord. And so, I kept listening, but I'll tell you what sticks out with me. I mean, y'all asked these questions, and we said it a while ago when y'all couldn't hear us, but we can't remember a lot of that stuff. I heard Chesley say, he said, I don't know, I can't remember what happened that night. He said, but because you're so caught up in it. And I couldn't, and I hope y'all don't. If you do, I ain't gonna be able to answer it, because if y'all ask me who we played and all that stuff, I can't tell you that. I don't know. I don't know who we played the night I got to play in it.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I mean, I could go look it up, but I don't know that. I don't remember who we beat. I just know
the feeling
we beat.
Yeah, the
and
feeling.
So, as my wife, my grandfather-in-law used to ask me every time we had a game, he'd say, did you beat or get beat? And I was proud to say we beat. So, and we was able to beat 4 times. And as I said, winning that 4th one was really special, part of what Coach Steele said, that we wasn't the ones that was really supposed to win. And so, all those times and the specifics of it, I don't even remember where it was, to be honest with you. I guess 4 years, it was 4 different places. I can't remember where I went yesterday.
I remember my 2, but...
So, anyway, I know. But that was, all them things run back together. But and I sit there and listen to that talk between Chesley and Causey, and it just brought back so many memories, And that's the thing about this tournament. I mean, and if it wasn't for Lanierland, we wouldn't be sitting here today doing this talk. Which is really special for me.
Me too.
And thank y'all for asking me to come, by the way.
And I wanted to I had this thought, and you're saying what it meant to people. Also, the things that the tournament has done as it's evolved, and add in like the sportsmanship trophy that we added, and now the philanthropy with the Edmonds Telford Center. But I had a kid, I think it was at West Hall, and she won the sportsmanship, the Kurt Lance sportsmanship, and she was bald-headed, in chemo. She wasn't poorly playing the season. She was still dressing out, going through cancer. Our team was dealing with that. But to be able to have that happen at that tournament, she got to go in and play for 30 seconds or so. I mean, y'all know as well as I do how much that probably meant to her family and our community and people who never even knew her, and just the uproar of that crowd for that. I mean, that's a run in itself. So I think, the tournament's as old as it is, but people that have been around have really done things to enhance and, bring the service side and bring that to the kids, and bring the sportsmanship side to give other people moments as well.
Very well said.
When she brings up stuff like that, now, y'all don't know this, but Kurt Lance was one of my best friends. Me and Kurt Lance grew up together, going to playing for the big bad Chestnut Mountain Warriors.
Yes.
And, and we played together at Johnson. So, and then, I mean, when you talk about this, it just leads to something else, to something else, to something else.
Kurt was a good one. He was always good to us and our teams. He fed us and took care of us.
And I'm glad that these traditions that happen, I hope they will never go away. I hope that people will always remember and keep Kurt Lance's name on it. And
that's what makes it so special. Things like you just described.
Well, in part, every coach uses every angle you can get too, and I used to tell mine. I think it helped us win. I tell mine, look, I never won this thing as a player, so let's go do something that we ain't done.
Yeah.
You try to take every angle you can.
Absolutely.
I said, hey girls, y'all want to help me go win the tournament? Because I played in it, but I never won it. And y'all go do that. Y'all can do something that I can't say I ever did that. Not as a player, but I do want to say I can as a coach, and of course had good enough players that we was able to do that.
That's awesome.
So, this is a 2-part question. Sweat, you said you played in '74, correct? So, when it started, obviously it was 4 teams. It was North Hall, Gainesville, East Hall, South Hall until '71 or '72, if I have my years right. Then it became Johnson. South Hall was done, correct? So do you guys feel like that, and Kristi can probably speak to this, and Sweat still came on board a little bit later there in 2000, but was it better when it was only the 4, or as the growth of the county made the tournament better? Because I know there's been some bumps in the road with, the bracket and things like that. And has it helped the rivalries and the bragging rights and things like that?
Things have changed. And when it was 4, the way we seed it has changed in the past decade or so. I don't remember when, but a lot of things have changed about it. And the cool thing about Hall County, it's growing. And who would those 4 be to say, we're just going to keep it us, So I think it's been good for it. And the more people can be involved, probably the better it's going to be.
What do you think?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you.
What do you? Well, let me say this then. Maybe more specific. How has it developed, or has it helped promote rivalry in the county then with the more teams and the Lanierland? Because I mean, obviously, you get to brag about it, and the gold ball, as you said, is in your school if you've won it enough times.
Right. Well, just for the answering the overall question, Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, we were the first class, my class. So it went from South Hall to Johnson in 72. Because my brother went back, he was a senior, and he graduated in 74, so I would have been a sophomore. But in 72, I'm pretty sure is when it changed. As far as I know, we were the first class that didn't go to a school named South Hall. So that's my memory of that. And my brothers went to South Hall. Then it was South Hall Middle. So, but Johnson came on board at that point in time, and we didn't even have a gym. We still played all our games. Our home games were played at what was now South Hall Middle School. So we had the little PE facility, I guess you would call it, that they built. They didn't build a gym when they first built the school. So because we still had all that stuff at South Hall, that's where we played our games. And so with that being said, as years went on, I happened to be at West Hall when they built Chestatee and Flower Branch. And so now, we're sitting there, and we won't get into this, but we lost. I'd say we lost people both ways, not just one way. I mean, I hear these people cry because they built a new school next to them. I tell them, how about if they build one on both sides of you? So anyway, I think we went from 4A to 2A or where it was. I don't remember 5A to 3, so something. And we lost a good many. But thank goodness, the kids that were playing for us then, pretty much all of them stayed, and we were able to keep our teams. We lost some players, but we didn't lose enough to really knock us down, too much, I guess you would say, from an athletic standpoint. So, but then as they added those teams, you look back and it was like, okay, we just want to beat North Hall. We just want to beat Gainesville. We just want to beat East Hall. Well, then the next year it was, hey, we just want to beat them 3 and Flower Branch and Chestatee. I mean, exactly. We didn't care who. That didn't bother us. I mean, and I think the more, to me, it's the more the merrier, as they say. And it just brought new people in and more schools in. And the fact that they were, you're going now and playing against some people that you went to school with last year. Before you couldn't do that. You played against all them other folks in the other part of the county. Now, for a couple of years there, we were playing against schools, students, players that we were walking hall with them last year. And now we wanting to beat their tail. So, that was fun too, or to me it was.
I don't want to get off topic, but it's nice to hear, especially the history that I've heard today about Johnson. Of course, me coming in from another state, I didn't know all that. I didn't even know you played there. So it makes me even more proud that I got to do some special things at that school. Sounds like it was been a special place for a long, long time. So,
right. I remember coming. I'm pretty sure it was a Lanierland tournament when y'all was playing. I don't know. Did y'all host it?
We hosted it one year. We had the overflow in our pack.
Yeah.
We were playing East Hall.
But now that was another thing. Yes. Yeah. Now, see, that year, another good advantage of having the coaching pass. And, by the way, I would show y'all if we had a close-up, but we won't do it because y'all don't care. But, I got in my pocket now one of them coaching passes that says lifetime pass.
Hey, I do too.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
You got one?
One day, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Best Christmas present I've had in a long time.
I got to start going.
But that night, he's talking about it was so crowded. All them people was standing upstairs wanting to get in, and me and my buddy went to the back of the gym, and we walked around. And, of course, lo and behold, imagine this, I knew somebody. And so we just come in the back door.
Shocker.
And sit right behind the bench.
You know what they did that night, don't you? They put a big screen up in our Performing Arts Center, And I think like 300 or 400 more people got to go in there and watch the game on the screen. I mean, that's how special this whole situation
It was,
is.
you know, because I mean, I the man that came with me, my buddy that night, he didn't know nothing about Lanierland. He wasn't from here. He said, "Man, we ain't gonna be able to get in this place." I said, "Don't worry about it."
I'm somebody.
Well, no, I didn't say you know I didn't say that.
I
But
know.
I said I'm gonna know somebody back here at the gate. We can get in. So we just went around to the players' gate and walked in. And of course, it was we had to stand up against the wall for a little bit. We did have to do that. And then when some people got up, we went and grabbed their seat. So, you know, and that kind of stuff is to me is again special. There's so many special parts of it, but just that excitement. I tell you right now, y'all gonna make me want to go back to coaching.
I'm not going to go that far.
Well, just for
Go
Lanierland.
with me in an hour to practice. I'll take you both. We'll go. It'll be great.
Just for Lanierland. And then I'm
Okay,
done.
now I can go along with that.
All right.